My name is Olivia Parker. 2 days after my father's funeral, I drove to his house carrying flowers. But when I tried opening the front door, my key didn't work. I frowned and tried again, still nothing. Then the door opened from inside. My stepmother Linda stood there with her arms crossed. Behind her I saw moving boxes stacked in the hallway. "Why isn't my key working?" I asked. Linda smiled because she had already changed the locks. "You don't live here anymore, Olivia." I stared at her. "What are you talking about?" She stepped outside and closed the door behind her. "George is gone. This house belongs to me now." My stomach tightened. My father had owned that house for 30 years, long before he married Linda. Something felt wrong, very wrong. I looked past her shoulder and noticed workers carrying furniture out of the living room. My father's furniture. Linda shrugged. "Redecorating." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Dad had only been gone for 48 hours. And she was already acting like the queen of the house. I drove away before I said something I'd regret. But on the way home I made a decision. I was going to check the paperwork myself. The next morning I met with Dad's attorney. Mr. Harrison had handled our family's legal documents for years. When I told him what happened, he looked surprised. "She changed the locks already?" "Yes." He slowly opened a file cabinet. Then he pulled out a folder with my father's name on it. A few seconds later his eyebrows shot upward. "Interesting." "What?" He turned the folder toward me. Inside was a property document I'd never seen before. My heart nearly stopped because the owner listed on the deed wasn't Dad, it was me. "What?" Mr. Harrison nodded. "Your father transferred ownership 18 months ago." I couldn't speak. Apparently, Dad had quietly placed the house in my name after receiving a health diagnosis. He wanted to make sure the property stayed in the family. And he never told Linda. I stared at the document. Every signature was legal, every page was notarized. The house wasn't Linda's, it wasn't part of the estate, it wasn't even Dad's anymore, it belonged to me. Suddenly everything made sense. Linda thought she had inherited a valuable property, but legally she had nothing. Mr. Harrison smiled slightly. "She has no authority to change locks on a property she doesn't own." I almost laughed. For 2 days she'd been acting like the winner. She didn't even realize she was standing in someone else's house. That afternoon I returned. This time I wasn't alone. Mr. Harrison came with me. When Linda opened the door, her confidence disappeared the moment she saw the attorney. "What is this, Mr.?" Harrison calmly handed her the deed. She looked confused, then she started reading. The color slowly drained from her face. "No," she flipped through the pages. "No," then louder. "No, Mr. Harrison folded his hands. "Property legally belongs to Olivia." Linda stared at me. This isn't possible. But it was, and things were about to get even worse for her because while reviewing Dad's records, Mr. Harrison had discovered something else. For nearly a year, Linda had been secretly using Dad's credit cards, luxury handbags, jewelry, expensive vacations, more than $48,000 worth of purchases, most of them made without Dad knowing. The evidence was overwhelming: bank statements, receipts, transaction histories, everything. Linda's hands started shaking. She suddenly realized this wasn't about a house anymore. Now there were questions about money, lots of money. Over the next week, family members learned the truth. The house belonged to me, not Linda. And the credit card spending became the main topic of every conversation. Relatives who once defended her suddenly became very quiet. Because facts are difficult to argue with. Then came the final surprise. A video message Dad had recorded 6 months before his death. The entire family gathered to watch it. Dad appeared on the screen sitting in his favorite chair. "If you're watching this, I am no longer here." Room became silent. Dad continued. "I know there may be confusion regarding my house." Linda immediately looked nervous, then Dad smiled. "That house belongs to Olivia." Nobody spoke. "She helped me maintain it, repair it, and protect it for years." I felt tears in my eyes. Then Dad added, "Anyone trying to claim ownership after my death is going to be disappointed." Several relatives exchanged looks. Linda stared at the floor. She couldn't even look up. The video wasn't finished. Dad continued. "I also hope everyone remembers that family is more important than money." Irony hit hard, because money was exactly what had caused all of this. 3 months later, Linda moved into a small apartment. The house remained mine. The unauthorized credit card spending eventually had to be repaid through legal settlement agreements. And for the first time in years, the drama finally ended. One evening I sat on the front porch watching the sunset, the same porch where Dad used to drink coffee every morning. I thought about everything that happened, the lies, the greed, the betrayal. Then I remembered something Dad always said. The truth takes longer, but it always arrives. And he was right, because my stepmother changed Dad's locks. But she never realized, the house was mine all along.